Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the latest studio album from Gaerea entitled Coma.
Gaerea? Gaerea? More like Gaerea. Am I right, folks? I'm sorry.
No, you're not, but you should be, because even by your standards, Thrash and Jackson, that was remarkably lame. Anyways, just a quick little heads up before we dive headfirst into this album review. Anna, guess what?
What?
Today is October 27th. Do you know what that means?
Halloween party!
That's right, that means the Metal Meltdown's annual, very special Halloween party and live stream is happening today, right here on the Metal Meltdown. Wow! Video games, drinks, candy, shooting the shit, answering questions, hanging out with friends and potentially special guests. Also, Anna, Chompy, and also, obviously, myself, not Thrash and Jackson. He's not invited. That joke was genuinely so bad that he's uninvited from the party. But you, however, you are invited. As are you, as are you, as are you, as are you. Everyone is invited. Join us today, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And hey, if you can't make it, don't worry, it's gonna be archived. But also, you should make it, because that's the fun and cool thing to do. So, yeah. Alright, now that we've got that out of the way, let's finally start talking about Coma, the latest full-length studio album, and if I'm not mistaken, the fourth overall, from Gaerea, Portuguese atmospheric and post-black metal crew. We've paid attention to them here on the Metal Meltdown in some capacity for a little bit now. If I'm not mistaken, we talked about their previous albums, Limbo and Mirage, in previous Albums I Missed videos in 2020 and 2022, respectively. It's been great to see them evolve and grow and change and blossom and grow more mature and confident in their songwriting and songcraft. And right now, I would say that they're one of the most interesting voices within kind of atmospheric, melodic, post-black metal, within more mainstream avenues of black metal. As such, I've been relatively pumped and excited and interested in this brand new album, Coma, which seeks to take Gaerea into even bigger and bolder territory. As the band describe on their own Bandcamp page, but with Coma, Gaerea are no longer strictly black metal. Their fourth album broadens their signature sound by taking it in two seemingly opposed directions. There are more moments of intense beauty, but they only heighten the ensuing blows. Adding on to this in a press release with, "The world may be as hopeless as the album's lead single declares, but with Coma, Gaerea have returned to prove that they are the only band that can guide us through the darkness." One thing that stands out about this record right off the bat is the balance between harsh and soft tones, between heavier sounds and more gentle sounds, you know? It does have this oppressive, in-your-face kind of black metal assault to it, like it is still like a dark, brutal record in a way, but melodies do shimmer and sparkle a little bit brighter. There is more variety and versatility in the vocals. In fact, even clean vocals are introduced on this record, a variety of soaring melodies and more nuanced whisper vocals as well, I think add a lot of dimension and weight and emotion to this. Lyrically and conceptually too, much like the previous album Mirage, this is a very expressive and sorrowful and mournful record as well. And this results in arguably Gaerea's most heartfelt and impactful record to date. Now, I will say right off the bat that unfortunately, much like some other Gaerea albums, there is an issue with a slightly over-compressed mix and master. You know, it's a little bit too muffled, a little bit too dense, a little bit too noisy. It sounds more like a fist when, more often than not, it should sound like an open hand, reaching out for yours. But considering how successful previous Gaerea albums have been, despite these production issues, I can't really picture this being a massive problem for fans and critics alike, and I absolutely absolutely picture this topping a few top 10 lists near the end of the year. You've got the opening number, The Poet's Ballet, which uses spacious, minimalistic arrangements and guitar licks and harmonies to great effect, transitioning harshly but still nicely into some more powerful, emotionally charged, like, post-black metal. Love seeing the variety in the vocals right off the bat. Like, you do have some sneering black metal shrieks, sure, but you also have some pretty menacing, bellowing, almost like death metal-esque guttural vocals and some, like, more cackling kind of background vocals, all kind of working together in unison like a choir of damaged, broken, tortured souls. And having these very simple atmospherics and melodic guitars kind of just like gliding overhead, I think makes for a nice touch as well. It does a good job at like elevating this in a way. Then there's the following cut, Hope Shatters, and true to its name, it's a very gloomy and pessimistic cut of sorts. You have some darker tones and riffs and beats reminiscent of like some classic early to mid-90s black metal. You also have plenty of melodic guitars kind of soaring over top, but they have a more evil kind of sheen and finish to them. You have these chanting vocals that can be heard all throughout as well, giving this an eerie and creepy kind of feel. Like, it's very bitter and cold, but it still has this grand cinematic feel and finish to it. World Ablaze is interesting as well. It does have this very fiery, triumphant kind of momentum and energy to it, giving this an almost, dare I say, upbeat and rebellious kind of flair. Like, you know, it is a massive, ominous kind of melodic, post-atmospheric black metal rager, sure, it still is that. But simultaneous to that, it also just kind of sounds like a bunch of, like, black metal-looking freaks, like, throwing Molotov cocktails into buildings. Love all the different phases and transitions of the title track as well. Coma, you have these towering sections of almost blackened death metal brutality, combined with a variety of different vocal tactics and techniques, more shrieking, high, snarling vocals, more shouting kind of gutturals, more whispered sections. It almost kind of has the feel and the fluidity of like a Behemoth cut. That said, though, one of my favorite cuts might be Wilted Flower. I love the use of, like, ambient, slow-moving, melancholic, mournful sections. Like, it's genuinely got these sad, depressive turns, sandwiched in between, like, these fiery black metal assaults. Though a close second, I would say, is Shapeshifter, which does a good job at taking these slow-moving, melancholic passages and these different melodies and textures and turning it into something very expansive with an almost psychedelic kind of feel and flourish. Like, it's very immersive and trancey and kind of out there, and it kind of envelops you, you know? Like, it kind of wraps itself around you like a warm, toasty blanket. I will say there are maybe some moments where I feel like Gaerea could go a little bit further and get a little bit crazier. Like, there are some moments on this record where I'm like, man, if you threw in some horns here, if you threw in some keyboards here, if you went bigger on that melody, if you went heavier on that finish, like, that would just make a world of difference, you know? But as it stands, I think Coma is still a largely successful record. There aren't really any duds or weak cuts, so to speak. I mean, sure, some songs I prefer more than others, but nothing like outright bad or even mediocre. Even with the production issues, the compression issues, I still felt a lot of what was meant to be felt. I still felt a lot of what was here. I still think it's a very effective record, so I'm feeling a semi-soft 4 out of 5, leaning towards a 3.5 out of 5. It just barely earns that 4, if we're being honest, but it is a 4 out of 5 nonetheless. Whatever minor issues I have with maybe Gaerea holding back a little bit or, you know, still falling victim to these compression issues, they don't ultimately matter in the grand scheme of things. This is still, like, very well written, very well constructed, post-atmospheric melodic black metal all the way through. I think a lot of people are going to be really into this. If you're not somebody who's already into Gaerea or interested in post or atmospheric black metal, I'm not really sure there's much here that would really change your mind, but hey, you're more than welcome to give it a shot and prove me wrong. I've got no issue with that. I'm kind of running out of stuff to say, so I feel like this is a pretty good spot to finish things up, wrap things up, tie it in a bow, and go home. 4 out of 5, a semi-soft one, leaning towards a 3.5 out of 5, but nonetheless, a 4. I think it's a pretty great album. There's a lot of great stuff here, and I think you should check it out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here in case you have not done so already. Join us on Discord. Tune into our Halloween party tonight. Hell, it might be happening right now, depending on when you're watching this. Yeah, that's it. Anna, you got anything?
Yeah.
I'll take that as a no. You were too late. You snooze, you lose. Get fucked. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.